This is the news at 7 on Nta Channel 5, Abuja. I am Mariam George Jitubo. We start the news on a religious note. Total obedience and submission to the commandments of Allah is regarded as a great injunction expected of Muslims in all situations of life worshippers found themselves. Imam Sa'ad Suleiman of the Anwaru Huda League of Nigeria reminds worshippers in his Jumat sermon in Abuja as interpreted by the Deputy Imam. Religious correspondent Abdullah Ajia has more from the weekly moral guidance.
The unity and oneness of Allah as the fundamental basis of belief and worship was top on the preaching of Sheikh Sa'ad Suleiman, which was interpreted to the congregation, where the cleric drew the attention of the worshippers to the promise of Allah of glad tidings on the righteous and guided, as well as punishment for the misguided and those who disbelieve on the true teachings of Allah.
The essence of Tawheed is to know that the word and what is contained is based on the oneness of Allah, and that if anyone declare Allah as one, is going to lead a life of ease, a life of blessing, and his hereafter will also be blessed. And there are so many ayats in the Quran that he quoted that when somebody knows that whatever happens is done by Allah, there's going to have peace of mind. Even the society will also be at peace. But when people feel that there is no God and or there are some other things that can be called upon, then there will be chaos and there will be distress and there will be depression.
Certainly, the Imam emphasizes Quranic admonition as efficacious means of solving society challenges.
The encouragement is that we should know that Allah is one and is the one that calls us to affirm that when we believe in Him, we worship Him and with sincere heart.
The cleric led a special dua for Allah to bless and protect individuals, leaders, and the country, like he did for the people of Quraysh. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
And away from religion, Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has announced a donation of a mobile clinic to Taraba State government. She announced the donation on behalf of the Renewed Hope Initiative while flagging of a mobile clinic and a free education program undertaken by the state government in Jalingo. While commending the state government for prioritizing the health of the people, especially in undeserved communities, the First Lady expressed hope that the additional mobile clinic from RHI will further the desire of the state government to provide prompt and quality health care to rural dwellers, particularly during emergency situations. On the free education program for basic and secondary schools in the state, the First Lady describes it as another quantum leap in the ongoing efforts to address the challenge of out-of-school children in the country. The flag-off is one of the activities marking her two-day working visit to the state. And back in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has introduced for implementation a comprehensive reform policy on land administration in the territory. Director for Lands Administration, Chijoke Nwakwezi, who announced this, says the reforms will become operational from April 21st, 2025. Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
Government is supposed to provide the necessary.
The new land reforms cover conditions of grant of statutory right of occupancy, content of the statutory right of occupancy bill, content of letter of acceptance, refusal of offer of grants of right of occupancy, titling of mass housing and sectional interest, as well as regularization of area council land documents. FCT Director of Land, Chijoke Nwakwezi, says allottees now have 21 days from the date of offer to make full payment of all bills, fees, rents, and charges prescribed on offers of statutory rights of occupancy and to submit a duly completed letter of acceptance alongside evidence of payment or lose the offer. He adds that as against the lengthy period within which to develop allocated lands, the period within which to erect and complete development on any land granted in the FCT is now 2 years from the date of the commencement of the RFO.
As from the 21st, the week starting from the 21st of April this year, 2025, any offer of statutory right of occupancy made to you would have you pay the statutory right of occupancy bill attached to it within 21 days, inclusive of submission of a duly completed letter of acceptance. So what this means is that when such an offer is made to you, the way you will accept it is to pay. Bring the evidence of payment alongside the letter of acceptance. So acceptance of offers of statutory right of occupancy in the FCT is now tied to payment of the bill.
On lands previously allocated by the area councils, the FCT Land Administration Board says the law stipulates that all lands in the FCT are urban land. It therefore becomes necessary that all land documents issued by the area councils are considered for regularization to the statutory titles in line with relevant status.
In recognition of the urgent need to issue titles to the beneficiaries of mass housing and sectional interest, all applications for titling are to be made by the subscriber's developer to the Department of Land Administration for processing.
Senior Special Assistant to the Minister on Public Communications and Social Media, Larry Olayinka, clarifies the status of the mass housing in the FCT, unveiling a new operational framework for titling of mass housing and sectional interest. He says processing of titles for mass housing and sectional interest will commence on April 21 this year. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
And still talking governance, member House of Representatives, Amak Buhari Federal Constituency, Joshua Chinedu Obika, has carried out financial empowerment for the wives of gallant police officers who lost their lives in service to the nation. However, Gimba reports that this gesture is his way of showing appreciation and gratitude to God.
In a bid to honor the sacrifices made by the police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty, Joshua Chinedu Obika, the member representing the Amak Buhari Federal Constituency, presented a generous cash donation to the Police Officers' Wives Association. The donation was received on their behalf by the FCT Commissioner of Police, Ajawo Adewale.
People of Amak Buhari Federal Constituency, we are making this donation to the wives of our officers that lost their life in the line of duty.
The lawmaker expressed his commitment to community development through donations aimed at supporting the less privileged.
These are men and women who have laid their life down for the security of this FCT. So I think if there is any people that require this kind of gesture as of this time, it's men and women in the police force. Even though, like I said, I don't celebrate birthdays, but I did feel that if I will celebrate at all, this is the right thing to do.
Chinedu Obika stated that he will continue to patronize the FCT Police Command and the National Assembly, recognizing the command's crucial role in ensuring the safety of lives and property in Nigeria's capital, Abuja.
And that's why my office is proposing to have 1% of FCT internal generated revenue given to FCT Police Command to make them to be able to function and function well. Appreciating the families that their loved ones have laid down their lives for the protection of the FCT is just a minor. The little that we have donated will not change it for anybody among them. But what it shows is that we recognize your contribution.
He further emphasized that his office is planning to collaborate with the Police Officers' Wives Association to empower women and support widows, which will help alleviate their challenges. Hawagimba, NTA News.
For Nigerian judicial system to thrive, corrupt practices by the actors and inefficiency in governance must be addressed, A professor of law and senior advocate of Nigeria, Abdul Karim Abubakar Kana, made the assertion during the 52nd inaugural lecture series of Nasarawa State University, KEFI. Blessing Mfulani has more.
Affirming his chair as a professor of public law, Abdul Karim Abubakar Kana, SAN, the 52nd inaugural lecturer of Nasarawa State University, KEFI, opines that corruption, inadequate infrastructure, lack of skilled manpower, among other factors, hinder the implementation of legislation that will tackle the rots in Nigerian judicial system.
First of all, the law has to be properly constructed. Where it is not constructed, it will fail. Then secondly, when the law is properly constructed, it has to be properly interpreted without compromise and without corruption by the judiciary. Where there's a failure in that respect, where there's a compromise or corruption or sentiment or any of those other negative factors in the interpretation of the law by the courts, the law will fail.
Deputy Governor Nasarawa State, Dr. Emmanuel Akabe, and the Vice Chancellor Nasarawa State University, KEFI, Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman, expressed optimism that the lecture will provide valuable insights into the complexities of Nigerian laws and their implementations for the rule of law to thrive.
I will still continue to consult you. We will continue to beg you to make the knowledge available, to make all the facilities you have available to us in the state.
It has brought out all the necessary ingredients that contributed to the failure of our laws. I urge all academia and also the legal luminaries to take his document as their Bible so that they can implement it, and I'm sure if implemented, our laws will be far better.
We are thanking God for bringing it to like this, and then we're looking forward for others, not even our family directly, to also achieve their own dream.
Judiciary, they say, is the last hope of the common man. As such, there is need for both the body of benches and the Nigerian Bar Association to make the laws work for or against everybody. Blessing Mfulani, NTA News.
As the farming season approaches, farmers and herders have been advised to exercise restraint and exhibit sense of tolerance as their paths may cross in the course of farming and grazing. Non-governmental organizations African City of Refuge Empowerment Foundation, in collaboration with Across Nigeria, gave the advice during sensitization in Saka community of Karu local government area, Nasarawa State. Again, Blessing Mfulani has more.
The farmers' herders crisis in Nigeria have been on for a while, which has not yet been resolved fully. It is on this premise that African City of Refuge Empowerment Foundation, in collaboration with Across Nigeria, two non-governmental organizations, brought together herders and farmers in Saka community in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State on the need for them to be tolerant and complement each other's effort so that there will be good yields on one side and healthy dairy products on the other side for economic benefits of both.
We believe that it's not until when there is a crisis before we talk about peace. That is why we want to go on a peace tour to remind people that we are Nigerians and it's expected that we should live in peace.
God has given me a great love for the Fulani people, and I know that there is struggling and conflict right now in Nigeria. It makes everything difficult, and I think the answer to it all is peace.
I'm here to minister to people. I want to see them have a better future for their children especially. Children are the citizens of tomorrow. If they grow up just like their parents today, there's going to still be no peace in the future. There has to be a change.
Peace is everything, and I believe that as we start this program today in Saka, the Saka youth and the community, villagers from different places, they will also remain in peace by the grace of God.
Participants appreciate the moves by the organizers.
I am happy this meeting will foster more cooperation and peaceful coexistence among us.
This event we appreciate for it. It can encourage people that did not go to school, they should go to school.
As the peace tour continues across the state, the non-profit outfit hope that the exercise will bring enduring peaceful coexistence among farmers and herders. Blessing and Fulani, NTA News.
Major key players in business and investment circle of Abuja have commended the breakthroughs made by the business and investment arm of the FCT administration. The Abuja Investment Company Limited in the last 30 years, particularly the new leadership vision led by the first female group managing director, Ambassador Maureen Tamuno. This expression was made during the 30th anniversary celebration of the AICL in Abuja. Abdullahi Ajia brings us details.
It's been 3 decades of economic diversification, innovation, partnerships, business and investment building, from a visionary dream to the reality of an established pathway that has today gathered momentum with an acceptable name in the business and investment world. This celebration of Abuja Investments Company Limited at 30 was to review progress made and re-strategize on current and future priorities for more sustainable growth and wider impact.
Today, you can see the joy on the faces of the staff. You can see the progress of work under the leadership of His Excellency, the Minister of the FCT. You can see the progress and the whole drive. So for me, it's fulfilling, and it's actually propelling me to do more. We're looking at sustainable things, sustainable areas like, of course, agriculture, because of the value chain and food security, knowing the population of Nigeria. Definitely you can't go out of place with that. We're looking at renewable energy, and that has led us to the recent market that was commissioned.
The 30th anniversary also coincides with the first anniversary of the current group managing director, Ambassador Maureen Tamuno, under host leadership direction. Partners say AICL is witnessing the desired impactors to reposition with high performance and practical results to show.
Ambassador Maureen Tamuno has done a whole lot in 12 months, and what I have to advise her now is to go into industrialization of FCT. When we go into industrialization, we begin to find out that small and medium-sized industries will start cropping up in Abuja, and big stakeholders begin to come in, and then whatever we have, even agricultural products, can be processed into finished goods and then value addition.
For me, it's leadership and it's the drive and commitment that also motivates me to do more. And I think the sky is the beginning for AICL with the current leadership we have and the current staff we have. We have a very good, resourceful staff with energy, with enthusiasm. And our staff strength is also a blend of the youth and the old and the experience. So we have the Gen Zs there, we have the older ones like us, we try to motivate them.
Visible improvement, you can see achievements. And more especially in the last 1 year with the coming of the current GMD, she has actually turned things around. She has repositioned the company. We are doing things differently. And you can see just between February and April, we have commissioned 4 giant projects.
Stakeholders rededicate themselves to better collaboration in an era of possibilities and win-win gains for all partners. Of course, it was also time to reward dedicated staff for helping to drive the vision. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, 1 person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Let's now join the sports desk for Sports Brief.
As the date for the kick-off of the 22nd National Sports Festival tagged Gateway Games Ogun 2025 draws near, the National Sports Commission (NSC) inaugurated 19 subcommittees to ensure the successful hosting of the event, scheduled to hold from May 16 to 30th, 2025. Speaking during the ceremony held at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, described the National Sports Festival as Nigeria's version of the Olympics and a platform through which the nation identifies, nurtures, and develops its best athletes to represent the country at international competitions. He emphasized that the ultimate goal is to host a festival that will be appreciated both nationally and internationally, stressing that anything short of excellence would not be acceptable. Elsewhere, Manchester United gave a good fight to secure a 2-2 draw at Olympique Lyon in France in the UEFA Europa League on Thursday, and will have a date in the second leg to decide their fate of going to the semi-final. Another English side, Tottenham Hotspur, were forced a 1-1 draw by Eintracht Frankfurt of Germany. 10-man Rangers of Scotland were held to a goalless draw by Athletic Club of Spain. FK Bodo Glimt took home advantage to beat Lazio 2-0. With Sports Brief, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
And with sports, we end the news in English. Up next, translations. I am Mariam George Jitbo.
Igbo bụ anyị abịakwala ọzọ n'oge akụkọ ụwa nwoke afọ Chisombo aha m ka anyị malite site na akụkọ ime mmụọ. Inwe nkwanye ùgwù na nrube isi nye iwu nke ala bụ isi ihe a chọrọ n'aka onye Muslim ọbụla na ọnọdụ niile ha nwetara onwe ha iji nweta ngọzi ya. Ọ bụ Imam Sahad Suleiman nke Abwaro Huda League nke Nigeria chetara ndị otu ya nke a n'ekpere Jumat nke taa na Abuja, bụ nke osote ya Ustaz Abdul Kelani tụgharịrị ya iji kwe nghọta ma kọwaa na onye ọbụla na-enweghị nrube isi n'ebe ala anọ ga-enwe ntaramahụhụ. Onye ọrụ anyị Abdullahi Ajia sonyere n'oge a ma bụbata akụkọ na Imam a dukwara n'ekpere dua maka nchebe ala n'ebe onye ọbụla n'ala anyị nọ. Ụlọ ọrụ ọchịchị obodo a bụ FCT egosipụtala maka ntinye n'ọrụ usoro akpọkọrọ ọnụ maka mwụgha ọhụrụ bụ nke ga-ahụ na ọrụ ndenye na nlekọta ala n'obodo a gara nke ọma ma nwee ndekọ ndị a chọrọ. Ọnọzọ Yakubu onye ọrụ anyị bubatara akụkọ na onye ntụziaka ukwu nke ngalaba ụlọ ọrụ obodo a na-ahụ maka ndenye aha n'ọrụ metụtara ala Chijioke Nwankweze mere ka amata nke a na usoro ọhụrụ a ga-amalite dịwa ire na abalị 21 nke ọnwa anọ nke afọ a. Onye omeiwu n'ụlọ omeiwu ukwu ala anyị na-anọchite anya ọchịchị ime obodo amaka na Buhari Joshua Chinedu Obika enyela nwunye ndị uwe ojii bụ ndị di ha nwụrụ n'oge ha nọ n'ọrụ nke ala nna ha ihe onyinye ego iji nyere ha aka ịmalite ọrụ maọbụ azụmahịa n'onwe ha. Onye ọrụ anyị Hawagimba batara akụkọ na ihe onyinye a bụ otu ụzọ iji kwado ha. Ihe onyinye a ka enyefere n'aka otu ndị nwunye ndị uwe ojii n'obodo iji kwalite ndị otu ha, ebe ọ na-arịọ ka enye 1% bụ nke sitere n'ego enwetara n'obodo a bụ FCT iji kwado nwunye ndị uwe ojii a di ha nwụrụ n'oge ọrụ. Ọ bụ otu a ka anyị si apịachi ya n'izuụka ọzọ ga-aka mma. Ndewo.
Ẹ̀kálẹ́ ẹ̀kú dédé wòyí ìròyìn aago méje ló dé sétí ìgbọ̀yìn láti iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán àgbà ńlá láti ìlú Àbújá. Olúwaṣèyí Abímbọ́lá Ọ̀yáwọlé ni oníròyìn ní àṣálẹ́, ẹ máa bá mi kálọ. Níbi ẹ̀sìn Jumat ní gbogbo ẹlẹ́sìn Ìsìláàmù ti gba ìyànjú ọ̀rọ̀ ìyìn rere látẹnu Imam Sahad Suleiman oníwàásù láti Anwaru Uda Lingi Nàìjíríà. Ìmáàmù náà pe ọkàn gbogbo olùsìn sí ipa ọ̀nà ìgbọ́ràn àti ìjọ̀wọ́ ara ẹni sílẹ̀ fún gbogbo òfin Allah eléyìí tí ó jẹ́ ìṣe òtítọ́ fún mùsùlùmí rere ní gbogbo ipò tán bá bára wọn àbí ní gbogbo ìdojúkọ tán bá bára wọn. Oníròyìn ẹ̀sìn Abdullahi Ajiya múròyìn wá pé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ wọ̀nyí àti ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí ni ó jáde lákòókò ìwàásù náà gẹ́gẹ́ bí igbákejì ìmáàmù náà ṣe túmọ̀ rẹ̀. Ìjọba ìṣàkóso olú ìlú orílẹ̀-èdè ti ṣe ìgbékalẹ̀ fún ìmúṣẹ ètò ìmúlò fún àtúnṣe kíkún lórí ìṣàkóso ilẹ̀ ní agbègbè FCT Abuja. Ọ̀nàzè Yakubu ló jábọ̀ pé olùdarí fún ìṣàkóso ilẹ̀ Chijioke Nwankweze tí ó ṣe ìkéde yìí sọ pé àwọn àtúnṣe náà yóò di ohun àmúlò ní ọjọ́ 21 oṣù kẹrin ọdún 2025 tí a wọ̀ yìí. Aṣojú agbègbè Amak òun Buhari Joshua Chinedu Obika ti ṣe ètò ìrólágbára owó fún àwọn ìyàwó ọlọ́pàá tí ó pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ sí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Hawagimba jábọ̀ pé ìṣe ìfẹ́ yìí ni láti jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀ wípé iṣẹ́ takuntakun tí wọ́n ṣe kò ń ṣe ohun tí ìjọba fojú parẹ́ àti pé ìfẹ́ ń bẹ fún àwọn ẹbí tó ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìjọba. Tó ibi là ó ti mẹ́nu dúró kí ó báyìí lọ bí oge. Olúwaṣèyí Abímbọ́lá ló ń kí yín pé ó dàárọ̀.